That should be enough time for everybody to get prepared. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Saturday, the 2nd of July, 2 days away from the 4th of July. And by the way, Dave, here in the US of A, we have Independence Day. So you just had Canada Day like a few days ago. Well,
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Was that yesterday?
Yep.
Okay, so we're just a couple of days away. Anyway, I hope that you're going to stick around for the pre-4th of July version. I'm your host, by the way, David Dorian Ross. This is my co-host, Ginger. And these are the fine gentlemen of the Virtual Pipe Club. Say hello, fine gentlemen.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Oh, happy Saturday, everybody. Folks.
There we go. Well, we have a great show for you today. As always, a wonderful guest here. And I'm going to introduce him in just a moment here. I'm going to turn off the theme music. It's the kind of theme music that that you want to fade out, but I don't have an engineer, so I have to do it myself. Anyway, I'm very excited about introducing our special guest today, but first I have a couple of quick announcements. One thing is that you might notice that across the bottom of the screen today is a little scrolling text there, and it's telling you about our new website. The website has been around a few weeks, but it's still relatively new, and we're still adding this and that and the other thing. For a long time, it was just sign up to be on the mailing list so that we can start sending you information about all of the special deals that we're going to negotiate. But now there is a live stream player on the website. And so for all of my friends who are out there going, I'll never go on Facebook, ever, don't even try. You have an alternative. You can go right over there to the website and or join us here in the Zoom room, either one. So if you haven't went over to the website and visited it yet, there you go. And you can find the URL right there on the scrolling text. The other thing that I want to announce is that this show, for the next few weeks, maybe even into next month, is brought to you by the Las Vegas International Pipe Show, LVIPS, which is coming up on the 22nd, 23rd of October this year. And the Virtual Pipe Club is going to be one of the sponsors of the Las Vegas Pipe Show. And I wanted to tell you about a couple of special things that are happening there. So I'll make a quick run of it right now, and then we'll talk about it later. One of the things is that there is a special ticket price for people to go and visit the Las Vegas Pipe. You know, you want to go to get out of town, and Las Vegas is a fine place to go. But as an incentive, every ticket that's bought will be accompanied by a raffle voucher for a 4-pipe set put together by my friend Chris Kelly and his buddies up there at Blake Bar Briars, Chris Asquith, and the other person whose name I can't remember, and I'm going to get in so much trouble for forgetting that. Anyway, it is one of the 4 Horsemen sets. Beautiful set. And you have a chance of winning that, and you sign up and pay your ticket to come down, and it's only $40 to do that. Also, the Virtual Pipe Club will be hosting a special VIP suite, and on, I believe it's Friday night, we're going to be doing a whiskey tasting at the suite. And if you buy your ticket by my birthday time, which is July 21st, you'll be invited, you'll get your invitation to come to the whiskey tasting at the hospitality suite. And that's all my announcements. Is that official? Do you think I can get a job doing this? I don't. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. So my guest today is a gentleman that I first met because he picked me up in the parking lot. Literally, he picked me up in the parking lot. We were at Chicago at the Chicago Pipe Show, and I came out, and my good friend Janos had invited me to go to dinner with a group of his friends. And I come downstairs, and I think I'm going to go with Janos, and we're going to go to the restaurant. But instead, he shuffles me off into the parking lot, and a car pulls up, and somebody sticks his head out and says, "Quick, hop in!" And that's how I met him.
Good looking.
That's right. That's how I met him, and he's here today to talk about his business called Ranz Freehand Pipes. His name is Ron Smith. He's a hell of a nice guy, and at least I think so. I think you will too. He's going to talk about beautiful, extraordinarily beautiful pipes. But first, we're going to do our weekly ritual of going around the club here and seeing what everybody's smoking and what they're smoking it in. And in honor of our guest today, if you have a freehand close by, or if you're smoking a freehand today, tell us all about it. Or if you got one that you have in the back room, but you still have a story about it, love to know. And we're going to start with my friend, Michael Tan. Good morning, Michael, sir.
Good morning, DDR. Well, me being me, I got this little known carver out of somewhere in the United States called Ranz something or other. It's a great little freehand I got from him. I don't know, some months back. Smokes great. Inside of it, I've got some Caramel Pipe Club Taurus. And when I saw you coming on, Ron, I was like, I got to bring this out and smoke it. I'm going out of my normal rotation, but it's a great pipe, Ron. Thank you so much for making it.
Appreciate it.
And then I guess I'm going to have to pass the pipe over to Dave.
Hey, folks. Happy week that us North Americans celebrate taking off from the monarchy. And it was yesterday in Canada and coming up for you guys in the States. So happy that weekend. I'm smoking a calabash that my dad gave me. He bought this in the 50s in Austria. It's unmarked. I don't know. And I'm trying my very first bowl of Seattle Pipe Club's plum pudding in the traditional Canadian inspired art. So I don't know. It's a huge bowl, so I'm not sure what's going to happen if I'm going to need another one. But if I do have to fill another bowl, it's going to be some Peretti's London Flake. And I haven't picked the pipe for it yet. I'm thinking because it's Saturday, I'll go with my Janos pipe, which is here. I'm kind of behind here. Everyone's seen it a million times, but my favorite Saturday pipe is my Janos poker with bamboo. And so anyway, have a good weekend. It's nice to see everybody, and I'll pass the pipe to Kent.
Got to turn the mic on. Thank you very much, Dave, and good to see everyone. Today, I'm starting off smoking with a Longchamp. That's Longchamps for some people. Nice as they are, leather clad. This is an Opera. The screen is in stretch mode. It really is an oval bowl, and you probably know that, but I enjoy a nice smoke, and I've got in it a Balkan of my own making that has a little bit of black Cavendish in it as well. And I've got lots of other Longchamps. I smoked this Prince last night and Dirty Billiard. I've tried to clean it up, and a Bent, and a couple other different brands of some leather clad. Really enjoy those.
Hey, Kent.
And when that gets done, I have my Bavarian, my Meerschaum with his Bavarian face. I sat for this, and they hard no, but It's a Bavarian smoking a Bavarian smoking a pipe.
It's a wonderful
And,
likeness.
Yeah, and it's got a German nose. I mean, and that's a good thing. And in it, I have a Balkan of my own make that is heavy on both.
Kent, how do you
Stove
like
Red
your opera
Virginia
pipe?
and Basma, with lots of other good stuff.
Kent, how do you like your
And,
opera pipe?
I really like it. I don't usually go to the opera. I've wanted to, and COVID got in the way. But and so I don't have a pocket, to put it in during the intermission. But it is a nice short smoke, and 30, 45 minutes for me. That's short. And
The
and
reason
it's,
why I ask is a long time ago, I picked up an opera pipe from eBay, and I didn't recognize what the shape was. I didn't know what it was about. And when I, read up on it, it said it was for, intermission time in a short pipe. It turns out, I think it's one of the best pipes and best smokers I have. It's just, so I was curious to know how you liked it.
most of you know the history after the Second War to end all wars was low grade briar good was all they could get in France, and so they covered it up with leather. It has a nice feel in your hand, a leather clad pipe. So I don't know what it is, but it's very comfortable.
Awesome.
So with that, I will pass it on to Tim.
Thank you, Kent. Very nice pipe. Okay. So today I'm smoking this Paul Bonaquisti author. Paul Bonaquisti is from New York. He's had a long history of pipe making. He owns a store there in New York, a pipe store, and he's been a good acquaintance of mine for many, many years. It's a great pipe. It's a really nice blast on it, and it smokes really well. It's a really wonderful pipe. And then in that, I'm smoking Regent's Flake, kind of a Oriental Forward Virginia, really great tobacco that I enjoy. And following that, I'm going to light up this Peterson Baker Street Sherlock Holmes. Now, last week, our guest Amu was with us, and she had this particular pipe tattooed on her arm, Baker Street. And if I had known that she would have had that tattoo, I would have been smoking this last week. But unfortunately, I'm not able to think ahead and think, oh, well, will our guest have a tattoo of a pipe, and what pipe will be? Can't do it. It's a character flaw of mine. Hey, what are you going to do? But anyway, that's my story for today. And with that, I am going to turn the virtual pipe over to Mr. John Plunkett. How you doing today, sir? And what's going on with your pipe? You're on mute, John. You're on mute. Mute. Can't hear you.
Yeah, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you now.
We had a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? That's the curse of having two mutes here. Only got one of them. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well. Thank you, Tim. Smoking a small Savinelli here. I guess this is close to a Paul type shape. It's a deep bent. This is a very light pipe. It's one I bought a couple of years ago because I kind of like this camouflage stem on it. It's one of my work pipes because it's so light. It's the kind of thing I can light and hang in my mouth and go out and cut the grass. And today I'm kind of smoking the Frankenblend, as I mentioned before. When I get down to the bottom of a pouch or a bottom of a container, I throw them all in a single jar and try to keep them humidified, shake them up, and then get them out from time to time and smoke them. So it's sometimes it's pretty good, sometimes it's nondescript, sometimes it proves to be a mistake and needs to age out a little more or have some more content put in it. But that's what I'm burning through today. So with that said, let me pass this virtual pipe off to my friend Randall.
Thank you, John. Good to see everybody on this fine Independence Day here. Today, my newest cob. Looks like what they usually call the country gentleman, but they're calling this one the Boone. And it comes with a green stem. It's a nice stem. It's not acrylic. I thought it was. I called Marilyn. She said, no, they're just our usual plastic, but it's in a different color. Nice thing about these old style stems, they all hold filters real well. They're made for it. And in it, we got a little Prince Albert. I always like to break them in with some PA they don't really break them in, you season them. That's what I do. I just season them. But it's smoking fine. Later on, probably switch over to some Peter Stockaby luxury English flake. I like that one. It's a fine one too. Well, who's left here? Let's see. Glenn. How about Glenn?
Thanks, Randall. Today, I start out smoking it's pretty much the last of my McClellan's Grey Havens from 1998. I think there's maybe one bowl left. And I'm smoking it in a Sunrise amber grain billiard. I believe they call them Kamoy seconds. It's a very nice pipe, very light, good smoker. And my freehand for the day is a Ben Wade Martinique, which smoking pipes indicates might have been made by Preben Holm. It's a very nice pipe, got some nice grain to it, and in beautiful shape. And in that one, I was talking to Tim earlier and telling him my smoke later today is going to be London Dock. I have a tin of Middleton's that's been stored for ages, and I had one bowl the other night and it was wonderful. It's still fresh. So I suspect a lot of PG in there, but it's a wonderful tobacco and a great memory.
Glenn,
So,
Glenn, how are you feeling today? Are you feeling okay?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're just a little green around the gills, is why I was asking.
Yeah, that's my lighting here. I do this maybe a little better. There we go.
Otherwise, you look as handsome as ever. Just fabulous.
Thank you.
Just wanted to make sure.
Thank you. I feel good. And as my little shirt here, I'm living generously. So I will pass the pipe on to Michael Schroeder. Michael Schneider.
Hello, everyone. Happy weekend. Nice 4th of July weekend. Enjoying a long weekend. I am smoking a Walt Hettinger pipe that he made for me with some evening flake. And that's about to be at its end. And then after that, I'm going to smoke a new acquisition that's from some guy in Cyprus. I forgot his name. Never met him before. I'm going to smoke
one of those off-brand pipes that you just pick up here and there. Is that?
Yeah, you it's kind of hard to figure out. Can't even tell what it is exactly.
I know. I've got one like that too. I'm not sure if I should try to fit my toes in it or something, but I think you'll like that pipe though.
I've already smoked it a couple of times. I do like it. It's a very nice pipe. And I will pass the virtual pipe to Tom Barr.
Thank you. Barr is an abbreviation of my last name, which is difficult. People talking in English. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm smoking in Karatan. Well, it's model 4420 double comfort. Actually, it's a pipe, my first pipe, which I completely restored. This is my first pipe, completely restored by me. I've cleaned it to I've cleaned it to the raw wood and changed the color. The color is walnut. I use the walnut stain. Actually, I like pipe with a big bowl. It's a beautiful, very useful pipe. Because I like it very much, so I have another two, the same models. Number 4420 Karatan, one of them. Sorry about my camera. Yes, one of them. And second one is I bought recently from France. Is without table comfort stem. Probably it's oldest from this third. Well, I'm smoking New Minster 400. That's all. Thank you very much.
Tom,
Please
before
forgive me my English.
Your English is
I'm working on it.
your English is fine, Tom. Your English is better than mine.
Last week you told about restoration. It's I'm very proud because I'm not a professional, but I made a full restoration, so I'm proud.
It looks
probably Janos is laughing probably because he's a pipe maker professional. I'm not a professional, but I like it very much. It's very nice.
Could you turn it so that we can see the rim of the bowl? Could you hold it up like this so we can see the rim of the bowl?
Yes.
And then turn it this way.
Okay. There is a tobacco, so.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But
I was just
another one.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yes, it's clean, very clean. It's a perfect state. I'm very surprised because they have 50 or 60 years old. I'm not sure, but this one is oldest. I think it's from 60s. It's absolutely perfect. I was surprised.
Nice job. Nice. Tom, where are you located?
Sorry, I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Where do you live?
I live in the south of Poland, in the middle between Kraków, probably you know it, and Katowice. I'm a lawyer. I'm living near the mountains. It's a beautiful place for a living.
Well, it's very nice to meet you and have you here, and thank you for
thank you.
Jumping in. Now
thank you very much.
You get to pass along the virtual pipe to another member. So you.
Yes. Maybe the voice goes to Ron Smith. Okay, Janos. Sorry. I'm sorry. The voice goes to Janos.
And Janos, you're on mute there, my young friend.
Okay. Thank you, Tom, and welcome to the club from Cyprus. I'm inside. I'm not smoking now, but I just finished a bowl of HH Vintage Virginia in one of my creations. I'm past the which left.
We have
Patrick Gang.
Patrick's there, yeah.
Yeah, Patrick.
Live from New York City, Times Square.
And thank you very much, Janos. Hey, David. Good afternoon, all. Right now, I am smoking a 708-602 Bent Julia, which I got from one of our club members. I'll put it up there so you guys can see it. I got it from one of our New York Club members. In it, I'm smoking a Virginian Burley, which they call my own blend, which is topped with a maple rum topping. Had this about 2 years, and it's becoming a better smoke. Afterwards, I'll be smoking this particular pipe here, which I got from Bishop Pipes, and had it dated, found out it's a Camoys heart that dates back to the 1950s. So I'll enjoy smoking that afterwards. And I think that's it. Is there anybody else left?
Yeah, we got Ryan up. So pass it on to Ryan there.
All right, Ryan, take it away.
All right. Is the mute off?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. What's going on, guys? It's been a couple weeks since I've seen most of you. I hope y'all are doing all right. I am out in the shop working today. Gonna finish up this little double lance I'm working on, and I am not smoking a pipe today. I am smoking a cigar. I went out to my local shop last night, and I met up with a guy to bring him his pipe, Billy Reed. He's a local guy. Had one commissioned, and I wound up grabbing a few sticks. So this is a Oliva, Connecticut. I don't really smoke a whole lot of cigars, but I don't know. I've been in the mood lately, so that's what I'm doing today.
Awesome. Awesome. It's good to see you. For those of you who don't know, Ryan is another great carver we had on the show a couple of weeks ago. And if you haven't seen the meeting where he was our guest speaker, you know where to find those things. Go on to YouTube or the Facebook page. And very soon, we'll be able to pull up past episodes right on our website. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But anyway, Brian's also awesome, and thanks for joining today, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
So we have one person left to talk about what they're smoking today, if they're smoking, and what kind of stuff they're smoking in that pipe. And that's our special guest today. Ron, what are you smoking, man?
Well, smoking some old dark fired Kentucky, and the piece you might recognize the work. It's also a Cypriot pipe, one of those Yanni pieces, and it's the first driftwood piece that I'd ever received. Great smoker. From one of the main influences on what I do.
And that would be that old reprobate that we have in our group there?
I think you know the one. Yanni, how you doing, brother?
All right, I'm fiddling around with my camera here. Give me a second there. Wait. That one.
There he is.
There he is. I was trying to fix my camera. A couple of people have commented over there on the chat and the live stream that I seem to be fuzzy, which you could take a couple of different ways. But apparently my desk camera is having trouble focusing, so we're going to try to work on that a little bit.
Either that or go back to the clinic.
I got to go back to the clinic. Yes. I'm sorry, Doc, but can you do anything about this fuzziness I've got going on? Well, I give a quick introduction to our special guest, just telling everybody about how I originally met him. And then a few weeks ago, as we were looking for filling up our calendar for the guest speakers, Ron's name was highly recommended by several people, and so my staff reached out to him, and we got him on the show. And I'm getting to that age where things, don't connect all the time, and so I was like, do I know that? I know that voice. I think I know that face. And it took me like 3 or 4 days and we were in the middle of a conversation, and I'm like, oh, of course. We sat literally 5 inches away from each other when he was driving us to the restaurant. Anyway, he tells very, very funny but unrepeatable stories in more than one language, by the way. So he's a multilingual raconteur and a heck of a nice guy. It's Ron Smith, and Ron, let me do this thing here. Say hello to everybody.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Ron, as a way of kind of getting...
Hello, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming out today.
Oh, my pleasure.
As a way of getting yourself introduced to the world, And some of the people know you well. I think we got a lot of people in the club today who know you very well, but there are people that don't know you. Let's start with something easy. What is the meaning of the name Ranz, R-A-N-Z, Ranz Freehand?
Oh, okay. Well, when I first started making and decided to put them up for sale, wanted to do something of a brand name, of course, and I was either blessed or cursed with a very simple name, Ron Smith. Ron, pipe doesn't quite do it. Smith pipe, similarly doesn't, stand out in any way. And I double checked, and Savinelli and Stanwell were already taken. So I wanted to come up with something that sounded, fairly European, something along that line. So Ron's is actually a synonym for Ron. If I had a keyboard that could have produced umlauts, I probably would have put an umlaut over the N or something like that. But anyways, R-A-N-Z is just the sound alike for Ron.
So the proper pronunciation there is not Ranz Freehands, but Ranz Freehands.
By whatever name.
By whatever name. That's actually quite modern of you, sir. I like that. That's terrific. So Ranz Freehands.
A little bit ahead of the curve.
And then, does the freehand part mean that you specialize in freehand pipes?
I'm not sure I specialize in anything particularly, but freehand is basically the way we learned how to make pipes, and it's certainly applicable to the manner in which we try to get them right.
Well, tell us a little bit. Okay, so now that, by the way, thank you for that. So that gives us a little bit of an introduction to Ron and Ranz Freehand pipes. So let's go back to the kind of question I ask everybody, like, how did you get started? Did you have family members that smoked pipes and had that in your blood?
Not at all. There was one grandfather, but I didn't have much connection with him over the years, who was a pipe smoker. But everybody in the immediate household in old Chicago, nobody smoked at all, really. So I picked up the habit, the smoking habit, like most people in early teens. And the pipe thing kind of came along a bit later in kind of a strange, unusual way. Being in Chicago at some point, I had developed kind of a very strange connection between art and pipes, and that was initially through the Art Institute, which is in downtown Chicago. In order to get to the Art Institute, I had to take the IC, which is the train system, downtown, and just a few blocks away from the Art Institute, away from the lakeside, is Wabash Avenue, and that was Yvonne Reese. I think a few people probably know the shop. And basically, the drill was go over to the Art Institute, especially go up on the second floor where all of the great modern art pieces, are on display. After the visit there, go over to Yvonne Reese and just kind of admire the work. At that time, they had actually kind of a pipe museum, and thing which was displays which were narrated by a guy named Norman Ross, who was a newscaster. Anyways, saw Picasso, Monet, all the great guys over at the Art Institute. Then walked over, got to see various pipes. The the older stuff didn't inspire me, but Yvonne Reese was one of the early shops, as far as I knew, that was carrying the Danish pieces, and they made quite an impression. At any rate, gosh, years later, just in terms of pipe making, we had a shop in Knoxville, Smokies, which endeavored to have basically a pipe makers group come together, and the gimmick was you would buy a kit pipe, and Smokies at that time had set up basically a sanding wheel, some other things where you could go ahead, play around, make pipes. That lasted about 2 sessions when Smokies began to realize that making pipes and using a sanding wheel produced a tremendous amount of sawdust, which covered the entire shop. But that was the first foray into pipe making. Did a few of those. When it got kind of to the serious point, I, after retirement, had gone to a local community college, a place called Walter State, which is up the road in Morristown, Tennessee. I've never had a chance to take art classes of any form, either in undergraduate, graduate, or postgraduate school. So I thought, going ahead, taking some art classes might make me a more well-rounded individual. Totally failed at that, but during the course of a sculpture class, our sculpture teacher, running out of his own ideas, said, do whatever the hell you want. So basically I sourced some briar, some stems off eBay, and just for the fun of it, started playing around with shaping briar, since I'd kind of enjoyed previous experiences, and had by that time, been doing quite a lot of pipe smoking myself. So just kind of played around with it for a while.
So,
and
Ron,
that went particularly well.
So Ron, I have a question on that. So this is something that I'm curious about a lot. Whenever I hear somebody has an art background, or in your case, like deliberately went into studying art, like how much and in what way, if at all, did the art study affect how you're now making pipes?
It kind of came together once I started looking at what pipes were out there, and again, more than pleased to see two of my colleagues and one major inspiration here. Tom Wolf was with me when we both went through the pipe making seminar in Chicago. And actually, Tom did a very, very good piece. Love the hell out of that piece. I remember we had a discussion about whether he should leave it, plain, or apply some stain to it. Tom ultimately applied some stain to it. Hopefully, you're looking around, Tom, and seeing if you still got that.
I was just going to say, I think Tom's trying to see if it's still got it there.
It was a great piece, and looking forward to seeing more of Tom.
Yeah, give me a minute and I'll dig it up.
Bob, I'll sit your ass down, and you'll be fine. How you doing, buddy?
Doing fine.
Okay. It is, as always, good to see you. Tom was actually one of the first guys, along with his wife Leanna, that I ran into when we were up in Chicago, and we both went through the pipe making seminar right before, what was it, 2016 or 17 show?
17, I think.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That kind of sounds about right. Anyways, the other guy who is,
let me
has been.
let me
I'm
pause
sorry,
just for
go
a
ahead.
second here, Ron, because since we have this opportunity, I wanted to find out, Tom, what did you think of Ron's first pipe?
I thought it was halfway decent. He showed some promise, and he showed a lot of enthusiasm. And it's good to see that he's kept it going. I petered out. I've only made a half dozen pipes, where he's made that in a couple of weeks. So he's done very well. I've got one of his pipes with me here. This is a mortar pipe with a black and gray stem to it. And it's my first mortar, and I really enjoy it.
I'm wondering if the pipe was halfway decent and he showed a lot of enthusiasm as sort of the analogy to, yeah, my sister's okay looking, but she's got a great personality.
Not that bad, I'm afraid.
All right, well, let me get back to Ron and pick up the story there.
Okay. Well, anyways, coming off from that experience, and of course, you can't help but leave inspired by what you see at any Chicago show. You know, as I was looking around, and probably on Facebook, I started seeing these pipes, the color of which I had never seen in the entire pipe world. And it was a guy who was at that time, kind of vividly recall, you know, kind of using the palette of Gauguin, you know, very bright reds, oranges, greens, blues. Yanni, that, you know, that happened to be Yanni. You know, loved his stuff. And, you know, of course, later we had you know, a chance to meet, you know, in Chicago, but, you know, before that, you know, continued to follow his work amongst others. Yanni, as it turned out, has a #1 fan in East Tennessee. And I don't think those two have ever met, but there's a gentleman over here named Billy Jesse. And when Billy learned that I was going to Chicago, wanted me to make a particular trip, which I was going to make anyways, stop by and meet Janos. And I remember specifically we had to take a picture with a little sign that said, "Hi, Billy Jesse." And you know, kind of the you know, remarkable moment of his year. But you know, Yanni and I actually got to meet in Chicago. It must have been 2017, first show.
2017, yes.
Yeah, and
show.
Yeah, and you know, got to meet him actually. You know, get a you know, good close look at you know, his marvelous stuff. And you know, we've kind of kept in touch over several years, and through you know, a few important events. You know, both in the States and you know, over in Germany. So and anyways, you know, with you know, respect to at least the coloring, you know, pipes, I don't have the sophistication you kind of bring to the table with regard to shaping and design, but you know, certainly with you know, the use of color in pipes, a lot of the credit goes to this gentleman over here.
Let me pause for just a second.
Yeah.
There, I want to do that. First of all, I think that I fixed my camera problem, but I have a couple things I wanted to say. First of all, hang around if you're watching the meeting today a little bit longer, because in a bit we're going to take a look at several photos of Ron's work, and we'll get a chance to take a look at these colors that he's talking about, and get a chance to have some commentary about his influences, and you know, I'm sure that you'll find some some samples that are really, really eye-catching. I want to make sure everybody sticks around for that. The other thing is, though, this is the first time I've done this, by the way, since we had this opportunity. I talked to Tom about your first pipe, and Janos is here. Janos, I'm going to put everybody on the spot. Of course, everybody's going to say nice things about you, but I think they're all well-deserved. So, Janos, what do you think of Ranz pipes now?
What I think, if you see the first one, and look, I have 2 of his pipe in my collection, and the first one was in 2018, and the other is new one. If you compare, I mean, technically, is much better, and he start to recognize his pipe. I love my pipe, and is Ron Smith's pipe. It's not just a pipe like the first one.
So it has a style now. He's got
exactly.
That is a really interesting note there. So for those of you who don't know, I'm involved in the martial arts. I've been in martial arts practically my entire life, and in the tradition of Chinese martial arts, there's sort of these levels that you proceed along on your pursuit of mastery. And one of the stages you go through is called jue, which literally means like flavor, like you have your own recognizable style that's pretty unique. And that's fairly far along that pathway. So, Ron, you got some flavor, brother.
Well, I hope it doesn't leave any bad aftertaste in your mouth, but it's still developing. But the difference I think he's talking about, Yanni's talking about, is, when 2018, I think I'd probably been making pipes for about 2 years. And, what I was doing was certainly, by no means refined. They kind of smoked okay, but in trying to develop, what I've tried to do is to get with a lot of the pipe makers that I enjoy. I really, get a kick out of. I'm the ultimate fanboy, and Chicago, amongst some of the other shows we attend, is the best way to meet some of the guys and some of the major influences. Not only to me personally, but the shakers and movers of pipe world in general. So I started out, first maker whose shop I ever visited was Tim West up in Ohio. And, Tim, excellent pipe maker, great repairer, and just almost like all pipe makers, just an overall great guy. Had me up for a day in his shop, kind of exposed me to the shaping wheel, and the process of taking a block from start to finish, and kind of went on from there. The Chicago shows, I actually did the pipe making seminar twice. First one with Tom in 2017, and got to work with guys like Lee Von Erck, Mike Butera, and I mean, again, excellent makers, wonderful craftsmen. You take a lot of stuff from that. Also, in our class, we, just were exposed, to a lot of folks at every stage in the process, from beginners to some very, very talented carvers and conceptualists. But after Tim, just kind of made a tour of a lot of the makers. Stateside, David Huber over in North Carolina, got to see his shop. Didn't get to see much time where I could observe David at work. Scott Klein, who is just an excellent pipe maker, lives over in Nashville. Was nice enough to have me over into his shop, and just an exceptional craftsman. I don't think I, touched a piece of briar, but it's an opportunity to watch these guys work. Yanni and I have a particularly good friend over in Germany, a guy named Stefan Mueller. And I think a lot of you are probably familiar with Stefan's work. He is just one of the world-class makers, and another first-rank individual. I think right after Yanni and I met in 2017, I was over in Germany to attend the show in Speyer, which is a little town along the Rhine River, several miles down from Mannheim and Heidelberg. And when I told Stefan I was coming over, Stefan was nice enough to say, you got to come visit. And I was kind of reluctant to do that. Number one, I'm a terrible house guest. Being an old guy, just have, bad habits, tend to, stay up at weird hours and fart a lot. But anyways, Stefan, said, come on over. I come up on his offer. It was a great way to sit, watch him work a bit, at that time. But, more importantly, just be around the guys, see the shop, discuss the work. And the first night he said, let's go visit my good friend Roger. And the Roger he was talking about was a guy named Roger Wallenstein, who is not too far from him, right on the German-Luxembourg border. So I hopped in Stefan's Skoda and we went up to visit Wallenstein, and Wallenstein was another one of my heroes. The pipe Yanni made and gave me is something called driftwood or driftwood finish. And it is briar. However, Roger developed a way of kind of chemically blasting the soft wood away from the hardwood, and he named it the driftwood finish. So we got over, went over to see Roger. Got to see Roger's shop. Didn't actually get to see Roger do any work, but Roger also happens to be a lawyer. And anyways, so we went out for there's pizza which is called torte flambe. It's a white creme fraiche sauce. Roger's particularly familiar with it, so we went for wine, beers, torte flambes. Went back to Roger's house, saw this wonderful collection of work that he had put together, and we wound up staying up until about 3:30 in the morning. Now this is the night before. I'm supposed to be in Speyer, which is a few hundred kilometers away, several hours drive, anyways. We just like I say, are drinking, staying up.
Just doing the boys thing, kind of like we all know what that's like.
Kind of doing the boys thing. Anyways, we didn't get back to our Stephen and I were staying in the hotel. We didn't get back to the hotel till about 4:30 in the morning. And this is the day, Spire now is scheduled to start about 5 hours. And, not knowing my geography. Go ahead, sir.
So I was going to say, well, hold on to that story because I wanted to let everybody know. So Ron's got a great story about being in Germany and going to Spire, which is a town, not just a top of a church, and going to a special event there. I'm not going to steal the thunder. I'm going to let him tell all about that. But I want to pause for just a second because, I can hear all of the brains working in the club. And I know that some of the guys got some questions for you. So we're going to pause for a second and open it up to questions from the group there. Also, to all of the people watching over on Facebook and YouTube, and I hope over on our website, by the way. If you haven't popped over to the website, we have a brand new live stream player on it, and you can just go, and then you don't have to go to Facebook or whatever to join in. And I'd love to have you do that because it's brand new, and then I'd like to get some feedback like, oh, it's just perfect, David Dorian, because that makes me feel better. Anyway, if you've got some questions, gentlemen, you know what to do. Please put up your virtual hands and ask Ron your questions. And over there on the live stream, if you have questions for Ron, type it into the chat, and I will pass it along for you. And then we'll get back to his story. And like I said, don't go off anywhere because we have some pictures of Ron's work, and it's really, really impressive. I'm not kidding at all about that. And some pictures of his shop, talking about his visits to some of his heroes' workspaces. We got some pictures of Ron's shop too that we're going to take a look at. So let me open up to questions. Tim, did you have a question there?
Yeah, Ron, when you make a pipe, do you have an idea beforehand, like I'm going to make a billiard or I'm going to make some shape and go with that, or do you kind of just go into it randomly and start shaping and see what happens? Or do you have a general approach to making pipes?
Depends. There are times where a particular block may be suited to a particular shape. The most common situation I can think of where block just kind of speaks to something is where you have just kind of a more slender area where your bowl would be, that just kind of signals to me might be time for a sitter poker type shape, long bowl. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much which way is the wind blowing, and how can we have fun with the block and make something which is going to be useful, practical, and beautiful, for lack of another term. So yeah, I spend a lot of time not going into it with a particular idea in mind, but kind of developing the idea. We do the initial preparation on the block, which would consist of sanding down the block, and seeing what's there. Grain, to a certain extent, is going to make some difference. As you can imagine, when you have a nice piece of briar with that beautiful classic straight grain, you pretty much have to go with a very classical kind of shape to highlight the grain, and kind of shape to accommodate what the block is offering. Otherwise, using just Ubushan Briar, basically you get a mix of grains, and you can pretty much proceed the shaping without having to worry about what the block is presenting in terms of the grain. Is that making sense?
It is.
Yeah. So it's almost the situation where if I'm in a playful mood and I come across a piece of straight grain, it's almost ruining my day, because that means I've got to get somewhat serious and just have to conform the shape to what the block is providing. Otherwise, I like to have fun, both shaping on the wheel and occasionally on the lathe.
Speaking of that, thank you, by the way. When you do your drilling, do you use a drill press or do you use a metal lathe?
I don't use a metal lathe. I use a wooden lathe.
Mm-hmm.
And that I found out is the very best way to get the holes exactly where you want them.
Thank you.
That one provides for very precise alignments.
So,
and that's one of the major considerations.
I have a question for you. Now, I'm not a pipe maker, and never tried to even take one of those hobby blocks, and that might be something I do one of these days. But if from all of the pipe carvers that we've had on the show, I can't recall anybody having said that they prep their block by sanding it first. And this might be one of those things that everybody knows but me. Like, that's very possible. Is this a technique that you learned from one of those gentlemen that you studied with?
Yeah. Basically, when I talk about prepping a block, when you get a box of wood, basically it has a very dark, obscure exterior. In order to better see what the grain and other features of the block are, you have to kind of sand it down a little bit. You certainly need, before you put it on a lathe, you need to square it up so that it's just to get the perfect alignment. So that's that's what I'm talking about. But once we're squared, it's kind of taking a look at the block, playing around with some of the angles that are allowable on a particular block, and just getting some idea of the general direction that we want to go with it.
Well, so thanks. Like I said, in all of the hold on a second. Like somewhere, look at somebody's ceiling there. In all of the guests that we had on who are pipe makers or whatever, I've seen people take a block of wood and put water on it, or wet it in some way, or maybe a little bit of oil to bring out a sense of the grain. But this is fascinating to me to hear about a sanding process to prep the block, to get it squared up and whatever. So thank you very much for a little bit of enlightenment there, man.
The wetting of the wood gives you some idea about the grain. Now, that works best when you're using a quality piece of plateau, and you want to see the direction of what is presumably going to be the nice straight grain. It works a little bit different with Ubushans, because although you may, when you start, see straight grain or bird's eye or, just kind of a various mix of the grains, that can radically change once you begin, your actual shaping. In other words, you've got, kind of a, mixed bag. It's kind of like Forrest Gump's box of chocolate. You never quite know what you're going to get. Which is one of the things that really makes pipe making fun.
Gotcha.
And I think David Johnson has a question. Don't be shy, David. Talk to me.
Yeah, David, you're still on mute there.
Well, he's thinking. Give him a chance.
Okay, I switched to my phone. I was trying to unmute myself here.
Are you unbeeped?
You're
okay.
I got a curiosity question for you. You said you use a wood lathe because it's more accurate, getting your angles and your inside and outside diameters and whatnot. When I used a metal lathe, I used to be able to get inside and outside diameters down to on a regular daily basis on all the projects that I used to make. I used to get the inside and outside diameters down to 10,000ths of an inch. So I'm just curious how a wood lathe is more accurate than a metal lathe.
It is not. And I apologize if I misspoke. No, I use a wood lathe because a wood lathe is affordable. It's what I've kind of started out with, and I still have. No, in order to use the metal lathe, I have to prepare the block. Have to get that perfectly squared. But as you know, wood lathe is by no means as accurate or can you do as many things with it as you can do with a metal lathe. So you are quite correct. And sorry if I misspoke.
So how do you, you're talking about, what did you say? You got to approach your work or you set up your block?
You have to square the block so it sits properly in the chuck.
Yeah.
Because if it's anywhere off, you can misalign your airways with your chamber, and you really don't want that. The block preparation, includes the squaring up.
Do you have a self-centering chuck?
Yes.
Good. That's a really handy tool to have.
Yeah. I use a Nova chuck, which works well, and then got from Steve Norris up at Vermont Freehand the jaws, which have worked very well.
Do you do the stem? Do you do the stems the same way on the self-centering chuck when you're rounding your stem and you're drilling your holes?
No, I use pre-molds.
Okay.
When you square your piece,
yes,
out of chuck, you've got the same kind of chuck on a wood lathe that you have on a metal lathe. It's basically what they call a universal chuck. And you just turn one, you put the chuck key, and you rotate your chuck key in one hole, and all the jaws move.
Yes.
Well, gentlemen, how do you feel about taking a look at some of Ron's work and have him share with us some of his process there? That sound good? Excellent. I got a thumbs up from Sean. That's all I needed. Okay.
Yeah,
Go for
yeah.
it.
Got a thumbs up from me.
Okay, 2 thumbs up. All right, here we go. And we'll start with this one. And one of the things that we talked about when Ron and I had a brief chat was that you'll notice something very particular about Ron's pipes, and that is an emphasis on the textures and the finishes that he uses on his pipes. So this, I think, is a really nice example of what that's like. Look at this finish and the grain that pops out there. Tell us about this pipe, Ron.
I'm what can I say? Your basic, basic smooth, center kind of pipe. What's very nice about it, I thought, was the way that the grain is brought out on that one, and I think that's pretty much the special feature about it. How nice the grain displays. Again, the shaping on any of my pieces, I don't think is anything, particularly special or unique. But I think the difference sometime is what we're able to do with the grain when we have good grain to display, and hopefully, I've done a nice job and done the block credit, by just making it visible.
Well, I would certainly say this is a beautiful example of the grain here. By the way, gentlemen, I'm sort of doing a little color commentary in the back here, but I don't want to be the only one commenting. If you've got an ooh or an ah or something, or even a question when we come across these pipes, go ahead and just call it out there. I do have one question for you, Ron. So
yeah.
I'm always fascinated by the choice of stem material.
Yeah.
And you've got a nice little ring that is a transition between the shank and the stem there. Tell me about that a little bit.
Basically, again, I'm using pre-molds. This one happens to be acrylic. The accent ring is actually some acrylic pieces which I picked up during the time I was making pens, which was shortly before I made pipes. When I initially acquired the lathe with the idea that eventually we'd be putting it to use doing the pipes, the only instruction I had was about 15 minutes from the guy who told me the first lathe. And the only thing that trained me to do was take squared blocks and turn them into round blocks, or not blocks, round wooden segments, which started using acrylic material for the pens. Like to add some color to the pipes just to make them stand out a little bit more. You can do that with nice stem material. You can also do that with accent rings, various materials, acrylic, bone, other kinds of woods. So just kind of, hopefully using the materials properly and aesthetically, to make it a nicer looking piece.
That's beautiful. Here's another one. Now this has got a very different kind of look there.
Yeah, you got a tight grain, which on this piece was evident on both sides. It's one of those funny patterns, as you can see. It's got these marvelous swirls. There are no blank spots in the wood itself. So the whole process was to bring out the grain and kind of use a nice contrast so that the grain became more evident. And then tried to highlight that with kind of a pearlized stem and another acrylic accent in blue.
Beautiful.
Ah, okay. Okay. There's an example of, every once in a while, I got to play it straight and basically do a piece which is basically dictated by the grain. And every once in a while, you just get this wonderful straight grain. And hopefully I did that piece justice.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, the layout of the grain, it was like you almost painted it on to the direction of the carving.
Well, you have to carve as the grain dictates.
Looks like it all comes to the center of the chamber.
Yeah.
Nice. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's an unusual block of Ubashan. You'd expect that, one of the high priced, pieces of plateau, but every once in a while, you get a good one like that, and when you do, play it straight.
Gorgeous. All right. Now this one is got an interesting transition there at the end of the shank into the stem there.
Yeah. Basically, we're just using a fancy stem. That was basically a short block. There's nothing in and of itself terribly remarkable about the pattern, but again, highlight when possible the pattern of the grain. A lot of times you can stain it in a way where you can actually bring out almost a golden quality to the lighter pieces of the grain, and it just turned out to be a very nice piece for what it was.
Do you happen to remember what stain you used for this particular pipe?
That looks like cardamom. And I might say, a lot of us use leather dyes has stains. They're alcohol based, and they're quite common when making pipes. A lot of times, I'll use diluted dyes on this one. I think with this piece, I probably put on a pretty heavy undiluted layer, and then what you do when you're doing the I'm having one of those brain farts, going on to the buffing wheel. It is trying to work out the shading and textures, more or less of the grains. So again, the grain pattern itself, nothing terribly remarkable, but you do have these, lovely golden kind of streaks which came out on that piece nicely.
Like tiger eye, almost there. Now we're getting into one of these that really catch your eye with that palette of colors that you were talking about.
Okay, thank you, Yanni. Everybody thank Yanni for kind of the inspiration on this kind of work. But
thank you, Yanni.
Oh, hey, more credits to Yanni. I mean, he's the guy who got us.
Okay, Yanos is Cypriot, Yannis is Greek. The same name.
Hold on, I've been mispronouncing your name all these years.
It's the same name. Anyway.
Screw it. I'll just call you Johnny from now on. Anglicized.
Yeah, why not?
So
Okay.
I don't know that we talked about this after we got back from Chicago, but is anybody in the group here a fan of the television show The Mentalist? Anybody ever watched that show, The Mentalist?
Yeah, it was a pretty good
It
show.
was a pretty good show. It was a sort of a detective series about a guy who his family was killed by a serial killer, and then he spent years and years trying to hunt him down to get his revenge. So the serial killer's name is Red John, which is the direct translation of Janos Kokinos.
Really?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you
We
Red
found him.
John.
We found him.
Yeah, Kokinos is my word. Red color. Janusz John. John Red.
Well, that explains your new pipe boxes that are red lined.
Exactly, Tom. Exactly. Hopefully to see you in Vegas. Eh?
All right. Oh, it jumped. Here I want to go back to some of these other shapes here. It was going along while we were talking. Where did we? Bear with me while we return to, there we go. That's the pipe that
Yeah, I
sorry.
love that pipe.
All right, so now here's another one. Here's a new one there. Ron,
Okay.
what's the story here? I love this swirling pattern here and the mixture of shades that you have going on there.
Okay. To be honest, the pipe actually looked nothing like that at all. But and sometimes this makes it difficult to post some of the work on the website. It's actually a much darker greens, but for whatever reason, the camera I use has difficulty sometimes accurately getting the colors correctly. What we're doing with this piece, however, is a combination of Roger's driftwood method, and instead of leaving the textures pretty much as would come out after you complete the process, is stopping the process about halfway through to preserve the actual grain patterns of the pipe. So what you're seeing is basically a process where the softwood has been kind of taken away, and the result is a lot of what you would normally look at if you were to sandblast, for instance, bird's eye, but it brings out some of the actual texture of those areas of the pipe. It was much more deeply colored, came out much prettier than the picture makes it appear. And like I say, it was much darker, kind of green blue. But basically, this picture kind of communicates what the process is, and how we bring out texture and color.
So if it's not revealing a trade secret, what method do you use to get? So for those of you who maybe tuned in and didn't hear Ron introduce this, this is what's known as the driftwood method, developed by one of his mentors, which separates some of the hardwood from the softwood. Did I get that right?
Yep. Yeah. Basically, it's a chemical sandblast. However, those of us who use it and are pretty much sworn to secrecy
Got it.
as far as what the actual process is.
Yeah, I thought so. That's why I said if it wasn't revealing anything there, that would make sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the one, and possibly the only process I use that I couldn't openly discuss as to how it's achieved. But you know, basically anything else I do is fair game. That is also kind of an example of you know, lightening the wood, bringing out the grain, and you know, making the best exposure possible. You can see that fine line of delineation between the straight grain and the bird's eye, which is kind of neat. It's kind of like you're looking from the center of the briar on the side of the pipe, and then looking at the plumes, or whatever the biological or you know, correct word is, it to you know, get the pattern. It's a nice section.
Now, how do you finish off the pipe? Is this a shellac, or is this just a highly buffed wax?
Okay, after the staining and whatever adjustments we need to do the color, the final process is not shellac, but it's something, another one of my favorite people in the world, Manfred Hortig, another true German genius, kind of shared with me, and that is to use something called cellular sanding sealer. Several people make it, but the stuff I use and stuff that's widely available in the States is Mylan's. And it leaves a very shiny surface, which you know, has just held up wonderfully for years.
Got it. I see Kent has his hand up there. Kent?
Yeah, I'm assuming there's at least 3 different stains on that pipe. Are there 3 or more?
To be honest with you, I don't know, but I do that. I use multiple colors a lot on pieces. So you may be correct. I'm seeing a little bit of blue. Let's see. You know, there's certainly some brown to you know, bring out the grain over kind of going to the right side. But yes, you would be correct.
Yeah.
A lot of times, in order to enhance the grain, I might apply another color over whatever is you know, there before, and you know, try to bring it out that way. You know, again, it's kind of honoring what's in the block.
I love the way that the different shades fade from one to the other as your eye goes across the pipe.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's not it's not everybody's cup of tea. You know, especially if you're into the more traditional stuff. But you know, there's you know, enough traditional stuff where I think there's room for a little bit of creativity. As my friend, whatever his name, correct name happens to be over in Cyprus, and
Red John.
You know, let's have some fun with it.
Ron, can you spell the name of this finishing material that you use?
Yes, I believe it's Mylands, Mylands.
Mylands. Got it.
Yeah, and Woodcrafters, certainly carries it. I think Home Depot and Lowe's also at various times carry it. But last time I tried to pick up the can, which had lasted me for about 5 years, you had difficulty finding it. But the Woodcrafters always seems to have it.
Yes, Amazon.
Amazon has it too.
Right. That's the universal shopping ground there.
Of course.
All right. So this is a great looking pipe here. Not a symmetrical shape, but that's the idea of freehand, right?
Well, I have put it to you this way. On one hand, I never claimed to do anything perfectly symmetrical. Still working on that one for at least some of the pieces. But what you're seeing here is just kind of this mixture of shape, a driftwood finish, and some of the ways that you can kind of play around with the chemical. You'll see a line which kind of goes down from the very top of the rim all the way to the base of the pipe.
Can I see that again?
I'm sorry?
Can I see that again, please?
This is the pipe he's talking about here? Or did you want to go back to seeing this one?
Well, the last one you had up.
Yeah, this is the same one here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And bottom line, I'll let the piece kind of speak for itself. But I really like that piece. I thought it came out well. It's one of the pieces where I used the driftwood method and the coloring to kind of suggest an earthy, almost mineral kind of pattern to it, like something we didn't do from a block, but we actually dug up.
Now this one is one of my favorites, I think.
Okay. As we talked yesterday, I get a lot of questions on the driftwood pieces about what kind of material that is. And, folks, I'm here to tell you it's all briar. Sometimes, I will leave a portion, in this case, the shank, in, kind of the regular briar presentation, and use in this case, again, the driftwood method and the coloration on the other pieces. David, if you can, go ahead and kind of move in so the people can see the grain pattern that the driftwood method kind of creates. That may be of some kind of interest. If you can. If you can enlarge the bowl pattern, I think that was a pretty good picture.
DDR, can you set yourself as the presenter so it stays on that screen?
Well.
Oh, okay. Okay? Okay, you got it. You got it. Yeah, and okay. Just leave it like that. From that angle right there, you can see the pattern that the chemical process kind of creates. In various areas, it's almost like brush strokes, which is really one of the nice aspects of that.
If I can pin the panel, I haven't been. So no, I can't.
I don't think he means you, DDR. Each individual can pin DDR's screen.
Oh, there we go.
If
I
you
see
pin
what you're saying.
DDR's screen, then it won't change to who's speaking, and then it'll stay on the picture of the pipe.
Thank you, Dave.
Also, you can also spotlight your own screen. That would do it too.
Now, let me go up there. Oh, you know why I can't do that? Because then I don't have anybody's face in that corner there. But gentlemen, here's the thing. I have the solution. For all of you guys who are watching in the Zoom room, all you have to do is go to my screen, my little Brady Bunch camera thing, and and then click on the 3 dot in the upper right-hand corner. Right, if you hover your mouse over that, it'll say mute or non-mute, and then 3 dots. And under the 3 dots, it says pin. Click pin, and then you'll be able to see all this good stuff. And I want to go back to here, and then we can take a look at some more of these beautiful pipes here. Trying to get to where we left off.
Okay.
There we go. That's where we left off. And then here's the next one.
Okay. Basically looks like a blue-green stain, rusticated base. What else can I say about it? You got some nice bird's eye pattern that, again, hopefully done justice to the block and brought it out.
And then we're back to where we began again. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping.
Now I want to, and this is probably what, this is probably what Dave was about to say, is that this is just a small sampling of the work that you can see that Ron has made. And he has a Facebook page and also his website. And the website is something I'll put in the chat on both the live stream and here in the room. It's Ranz Freehand Pipes. Is that right, Ron?
No, it's just Ranz Pipes.
Just Ranz Pipes. And that's
RANZ pipes.com.
Can't get any simpler than that, but I'll type it anyway. So ranzpipes.com, and a really wonderful wide range in this gallery section. And do you have an Instagram also?
Yeah, I do post on Instagram, Ron Smith Pipes.
Ron Smith Pipes. So there's a couple of places. I got a question for you from the live stream group.
Okay.
So we took a look at that one beautiful pipe where you showed that the shank was still undriftwooded, so that you could show that it was briar. How do you feel about things like Morta and oak wood, and for example, ever worked with those woods?
As a technical matter, Morta is, oak. That's been underwater and mud and whatever for years. Kind of mixed feelings about Morta in terms of working with it. It's more fibrous than briar, so it's a different material to work with than is briar. Yeah, I like several things about it. Once you get to the point where you're ready to finish it, the finishing is a lot easier. Basically, there's no staining to it, so you don't have to worry about that aspect of it. And you can very finely polish it and bring out the grain patterns on it. And it responds very, very well to light sandblasting. where you can bring out some wonderful patterns as well. That can run in any direction depending on the block that you're working with. As far as the reactions I've gotten to the pieces, one of the most interesting angles about Morta is how various people compare it with briar or other materials. And not uncommonly, it's been suggested that Morta smokes very similarly to meerschaum. A little bit more than briar. It's they describe it as a much a somewhat cooler smoke.
I think I agree with you. I have a video on the YouTube channel where I took all of the different pipes that I have, Morta, briar, cob, clay, and compared them all. And I think one of the things that I noticed was that Morta doesn't seem to color or affect the flavor of the smoke at all. Briar has a little bit of some creeping in of the fact that you're smoking it in a wooden vessel, but Morta feels kind of like like meerschaum, I guess, is a good comparison. Yeah.
That's the feedback I guess pretty often.
I've seen mortar wood in cherry and maple as well.
What by way of comparison to the smoke quality?
No, it's just basically bogwood.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, the stuff, the blocks I've been using are sourced out of the Ukraine. Basically, you're correct. We get very different looking material out of Germany, as a matter of fact. Manfred Hortig has access to a lot of Morta, but it's a much lighter variation. So I suppose it depends on where it's been soaked and perhaps how long it's soaking and what the elements around it is to get it to the various colors.
The stuff I've seen comes out of the Ukraine.
Yeah, that's where I source my stuff. And the stuff I'm getting out of the Ukraine seems to be very dark. It can vary from pitch black to even kind of light shades or medium shades of brown. But I think the stuff I'm getting is bog oak.
I want to pop in here real quick because we are unbelievably getting towards the end of today's meeting. Today's just flown by, which for me is always like an indication of how fascinating the speaker is. So I've just been I've been learning a ton here, and I just want to make the comment for all the people who are watching, you guys in the Zoom room here and also the live stream. Don't go anywhere yet. We're not done for another 12 and a half, 3/4 minutes. And I do have some announcements that I want to make at the end of the meeting today, so stick around. And there's still time to ask any questions of our special guest today. So if you've got some questions for Ron, for those of you who were asleep all afternoon long and just tuned in, we're talking to Ron Smith, who is the carver behind Ranz Freehand Pipes. That's R-A-N-Z, Ranz Freehand Pipes. And beautiful.
By whatever name.
By whatever name. In fact, by B-U-Y is the watchword there. Tell us a little bit about, if you don't mind, what your pricing is on your pipes, and do you do commissions, and where can people buy your stuff?
Okay. I try to keep the pricing low. It's a hobby, and that's how I intended it. I think the government, now is perhaps about to move it into the realm of a business. But what I want to do is provide kind of a budget-friendly piece. So I don't think there's anything on the website which is over $179 or something like that. And generally most of the pieces I try to keep around $100. Make them affordable and get them out there.
Wow.
Basically, the pipe making gives me something to do, which I'm very happy that I've been able to share. And so far so good.
That's really
as far as that
wonderful.
one.
That's amazing for those pipes that we saw today. That's an amazing. There's no excuse not to have one of these in your collection.
Okay.
Everybody.
As far as let me finish answering the question. As far as where do you get them? Basically, I do most of the shows over on this side of the Mississippi. Let's see, Chicago, Columbus. Hopefully, we'll be back at Richmond this year. Muletown, an exceptional show. The guys in Columbia, Tennessee, Briarworks just put on a wonderful show. So, certainly, want to meet the customers over, in those places. Retail Smokies in Knoxville, over by Montview Center. That's near Westtown Mall in Knoxville. The Gatlin Burlier, for those of you who want to take a trip to the Smokies. Ira and Rich, Gatlin Burlier move a lot. And then Blue Room Briars online. That's Jesse Jones, who was another one of not only my influences, but, probably the greatest instructor anybody who wants to learn pipe making could have. And, I've kind of modeled my shop, and a lot of the technique I picked up from Jesse is what I use in my pieces. In the EU Atelier 9.9, Atelier 9.9 is a dealer out of Stuttgart who carries, and then Tobacco Treasures is an Etsy operation out of California. So all of those places online, but the website, we keep them coming. They're post regularly on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook link is just Ron Smith. And bottom line, if you have any interest or want to see different kind of pipes, please join me. Leave comments, give me feedback. Let me know how I'm doing. Much appreciated.
That's awesome, Glenn. I see you've got your hand up there. Glenn?
Oh, hi, Ron. I noticed that several of your pipes you have chamfered tops on, which I really like. And I have heard in the industry that that's called a quick loader or fast loader. It's easier to put tobacco in if you have that feature. Is that primarily stylistic, or why do you chamfer the tops?
Well, it's not universal. Basically, no. What I'm doing is having fun, playing around with tops, so you can get that concave kind of feature, or rounded tops, or just the square tops. But no, that's just me playing around with style.
Nice.
Would you tell them I'm busy at the moment? I saw you answering the phone.
It's like, I'm sorry, Ron is not available right now.
Yeah.
I was
It was
Pennsylvania.
Amazon.
What's the handle on Instagram? I can't seem to find it.
Ron Smith Pipes, one word.
Perfect. Okay, thanks.
I want to go back real quick to the shows that you're going to be doing because Columbus is coming up right around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you'll be at Columbus, won't you?
God willing, and the sun don't, yes, yeah, great show.
So if you are living in that area and you're planning on going to Columbus, look Paul up. This is the kind of thing that people say, like when they're newscasters or whatever, and they know what they're doing. I'm saying this because I just came from the Chicago show, and it was like the third pipe show I'd ever been to. I went to 2 last year for the first time, and then I went to Chicago. And it is out of this world to walk up to a table and meet some people, and all over the famous people, not so famous people, but still really amazing and really cool. So if you do go to Columbus, because I have had a chance to take 2 drives with this gentleman, so he's got a lot of stories that we run out of time for. We didn't even have time for some of the stories we were planning on for today.
Well, we can do part 2 later.
We do part 2. Okay, you heard it here, folks. We're going to do a part 2 with Ron. But so do go and see him if you're going to Columbus, and send him as many emails as possible, convincing him to come to Las Vegas. So we have that going on.
I vote for Vegas.
See?
I don't know. I'd love to go to the show, Tom, and Tom's been one of the guys who has encouraged me to go. I just have no love for Vegas at all, but I may do it.
Okay.
I will be there.
See, now you have plenty. You can stay in Yanni's room, Janos's room.
And I come with my wife.
Oh, he's going with his wife. Maybe we should ask her first.
Yanni and I have already had that pleasure in Spire, as a matter of fact.
Spire, yeah, and Frankfurt.
That's right. Yeah. So, buddy, I'm looking forward to it. I asked Yanni to be here so that we could talk about the Grainstorm guys and some of my other influences. We didn't get around to that, but hey, buddy, thanks for coming. Thanks for all your help over the years.
So we'll definitely have to do a part 2 because Ron and I had a chance to chat yesterday to get ready for today, and he's got some other really fantastic stories, and we didn't even have a chance to take a look at the slides that he sent me about his shop, and we want to do like a virtual shop tour.
And I had to clean the damn thing up.
And you even cleaned it up. Well, but now I'm all set because I've got them all prepped and sized and everything, so that'll
but if you notice, there is a before picture as well, with all the sawdust and shavings and acrylic.
Just to lend some authenticity to the pictures there. I get it. Well, I'll tell you what. It's that time. I take a deep breath because this is the part that I always dread. And that's the part where we say, time bell. I know what it feels like to be a landlord there. We try to keep the meetings to only 2 hours because we know that you've got families and other football games to watch and stuff like that. So we don't want anybody getting in trouble because they're hanging out all day and talking pipes and whatnot. So that you can come back next week without any difficulties. So in just a minute, we'll be ending today. I want to give you a couple of quick announcements. First of all, mark your calendars. Bring out your pencils, pens, crayons, felt tip markers, and blood samples, and mark your calendars. Next Saturday, Tom Eltang will be our guest here. So we'll be promoting that all throughout the week, and tell your friends, tell your buddies. Tom is a special human being, not to mention a special carver. We've had him on the show. He was like one of our first like all the way back at the very beginning, he sort of set the bar for us to keep the special guest presenters coming and whatnot. So Tom will be here next week. He's got new things, new ideas. He said since the last time he was on the show, he's working on some new projects. So he promised to talk about those things, give us another shop tour, and just talk shit about people, because he, that's what Tom does.
I'm gonna say we should have a draw and see, like a pool, to see how many times he says the F word.
That's right. All right. Dave, you're in charge of making the pool there. So.
Okay.
Excellent. After that, after next weekend, the Virtual Pipe Club will be on break for 2 weeks because I'm going on my honeymoon. Just so you know. I didn't just get married. I got married last year, and I didn't just get together with my wife last year. We've been together for 17 years, but we just decided to make it official. She finally said, oh, what the hell, and got married last year, but we haven't been on a honeymoon yet. So we're going on a honeymoon this month, and so we'll be gone for 2 weeks after that. But then when we come back, we've got all kinds of other people lined up. Ron's going to come back for a part 2, and it's about the special guests that we'll talk about next week.
Where are you going on your honeymoon?
I don't want to get any hate mail. We're going to Bali, so it's going to
wow.
Be, yeah. Well, at my age, I'm never going to do this again. So it's like I'm going to make it a memorable one. We'll take pictures. What else did I want to tell you guys? Oh, yes. Don't forget the Las Vegas Las Vegas International Pipe Show is coming up October 22nd and 23rd. Tickets are on sale now. You can go to vegaspipeshow.com. No loss, just Vegas, vegaspipeshow.com, and buy tickets there. They're $40 a piece, which is cheap at half the price. But in this time around, where you're also going to get, as a part of the goodies that you get for coming to the show, a raffle ticket for a 4 horseman set of pipes from Chris Kelly, Chris Asquith, Blake Mar Briars, and Northern Briars in the UK. And I just got a message here. I'll wait till next week or midweek. I'll post it because I want to talk to you about it first. A second place prize for people. So if you don't win the 4 set, you'll win another set, which is going to be amazing. I'm going to talk to you about it more next week. So that's all going to go up on the website and on the Facebook page. That's all I got. Okay, so we're like 2 minutes over. I've got to get this out of here. Last thing. So as I told everybody, I started my morning today by running to urgent care because for the last several days, I've been short of breath. I haven't been able to go to the gym and work out. I haven't been able to do any yard work or whatever. And when I went in today, the doctor says it is probably a holdover from my bout with COVID. So I had come down with COVID after I got back from Chicago, actually. And I've been poked and vaxxed and boosted and everything 6 ways from Sunday. And so I just want to say it's still out there and it's still something that you could catch. Now, we're not political on this show. We don't have any agenda. So I don't care what you do. I don't care. Get the shot, don't get the shot. Stay in the basement, wash your hands, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear a football helmet, Darth Vader. I don't care. But please, please do something to take care of yourself because I really love you and I want you to come back and I want you to be healthy. And that's all I got to say about that. With that, these are the wonderful, wonderful people who come and sit around in the Zoom room. Guys, thank you for being here. You're the best.
Thanks, Ron.
Enjoyable.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Have a great
Have a
week.
great weekend, all.
Great.
Thanks,
Now get the heck out of here and go have a cocktail
Take care,
somewhere.
y'all.
I'll see you guys next
COVID's
week.
going to be here forever, just like the flu. So don't worry about that.
See you guys soon.